Welcome to Polar Night, ladies and gentlemen, where all the SCVs just got loaded and unloaded into the command center. We'll pretend we didn't see that as we introduced our first player, who's currently one game up. He represents Millennium, and he is currently on an absolute rampage in this qualifier. Will he make it through? We'll find out in just a bit. His name is 4GG. And his opponent, who didn't load up all his drones into his hatchery, spawning in the top position on Polar Night, he represents Team Dignitas. Unfortunately, going down in that first game after that horrendous Hellion run by. Will he be able to put it behind him, recognize it as a one-off, and take the series into a third game? His name is TEFel. He's 11 out of 10.
No, I have to... Playing from the position that TEFel's in right now with, like, that hurts your mindset. That shatters your mindset. And, I mean, at this point, he's just got to try to just recover from that, not take any damage early on. I'm not even talking about, like, 25 drones dying to Hellions. He doesn't want to lose a single drone to Reapers. Like, nothing like that. Like, if you're already really annoyed at a game, and you start, like, making small mistakes, like losing a drone to a Reaper or something, then use that really, like, it just multiplies the amount of frustration you have so much.
That you go straight into tilt mode. I completely understand what you're saying. But on the flip side as well, let's not forget, he needs to have the strength, and to be honest, I'm sure he does, because he's a veteran here, to recognize that, hang on a second, yes, that was really bad, but it was that one moment of madness letting the Hellions in. It's not like I played the entire game badly. It was literally a 3-second period where everything went wrong.
Exactly.
And as long as he recognizes that and he goes, well, hang on, the rest of my game was actually alright, with the possible exception of the hero Spore Crawler. And you know what? I shouldn't have to change too much about my game. I just need to make those little improvements, minimize those tiny mistakes that I had previous game, and I will be able to take this match to 4GG here. So hopefully he recognizes that, he recoups, he feels like he's okay from a mental perspective, and we will be able to see a good game here on Polar Night. And he does spot, indeed, that the barracks is at the wall off. No, go ahead.
I actually am very surprised that 4GG did not veto this map against TEFel, because if you're playing against TEFel, who goes, like, I'm not exaggerating, he goes Roach Hydra every game against Terran. It's the only thing he plays. So if you're playing against that, you know that, because they play each other on ladder all the time, I'm sure. He must know that he goes Roach Hydra, and he showed us in the build he did in the last game that he probably was expecting that. So I would assume that the two vetoes would be Daedalus Point and Polar Night from 4GG, because those are the two most open maps. Like, it's going to be so hard to play against Roach Hydra on this map.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculously large rams, huge open positions going into the center. You're completely right there. We have the first Reaper coming in now, and no overreaction so far from TEFel. Using the Queen to zone out the Reaper, doing a tremendous job so far, and I have to say, TEFel is handling this so far a lot better than the previous game.
Yeah, the first Reaper not really being able to even force one building cancel. But this, maybe now. Maybe he'll force something now. Yeah, there we go. But extractors as well. It's always nice to get an extractor. You lose less money when you actually have to cancel it. But here comes the second Reaper, and this is where stuff gets a little... Oh, he loses a drone. And that hurts a little bit. Oh, he loses another drone.
Yep, this is... He needs to stay calm at this point. I mean, don't forget, there are 2 Reapers worth of investment here. Losing 2 drones isn't actually the end of the world here.
No, it's not.
He just needs to make sure he stays calm. He's got the second Queen out now as well. Needs to ensure that his main base is adequately defended. We're not going for any additional Queens at this point. We are taking the first gas in the main base. Just needs to stay nice and collected. The Reaper is this time walking straight into the Queens and having to find an alternate plan of attack.
Yeah, so with 3 Queens, TEFel can cover pretty much everything. 4 Queens is like, okay, I'm never going to take damage from Reapers again. 3 Queens is still reasonable with good control, and TEFel does have good control when he utilizes... Oh god, 3rd drone kill. 4th drone kill. This is...
Oh, he's
okay,
trapped
he will
them
lose
now.
a Reaper. He will lose a Reaper. If he loses 2, then all of a sudden it's okay. It's still okay. It's not terrible because he killed off a Reaper, which means a lot less tanking power for the Hellions that are going to come in later. And actually, he may lose this one too, no.
Drones getting a little piece of the action there. So the reason that last Reaper, by the way, is useful is not because 4GG can start killing off additional drones. Of course, there's always a possibility because it's a Reaper and it can dart in and out of the base. The big thing about this is that he'll be able to get additional scouting information later on should he choose to, and that's something that ideally TEFel wouldn't want him to get. He's coming in now with the first 2 Hellions in addition to the Reaper, but I think 2 Queens should just about be enough to hold this off as well.
The most important thing about keeping Reapers alive is that when you go with the Hellions, the Reaper tank's damage goes back and ends up healing up. It's like taking shield damage for Protoss. So it takes really good focus fire from the Zerg player to actually kill off the Reaper.
Oops.
And, well, there we go. One queen's dead. That second queen can't get in. The Hellions are walling it off.
What is going on here? What am I seeing? Hellions walling off a Zerg? This is very, very bizarre, but we do actually have the Lings coming out. Now, 2 queens, though, have gone down for TefL. He cannot be too pleased about that. And that's right, slow Lings aren't going to be able to do a mountain of damage, and more Hellions are coming in now as well. So TefL looking like he might be going a little bit on the tilt. Here we go. More. Wow, that's a lot of Lings. He really doesn't want him to get in. Actually picking off 2 Hellions with it, so that's good. But 4GG has seen just how many Lings TefL was forced to produce there, and he must be grinning a little bit, because the worker count, 44 to 35, yes, in favor of the Zerg, but we have got that double command center, 3rd command center, in fact, down as well, so that's triple Mule and triple SCV production. 4GG must be comfortable.
I don't understand why he didn't make roaches there. Like, why?
A couple more would have just been fine, like 3 or 4 roaches to supplement the queens at the wall off, and you just end up being okay. It just looks like TefL may have panicked a little bit. And okay, he hasn't lost these Lings, by the way. It's not like they're going to be complete dead weight, but he'd much rather they be drones right now.
And that's so many Lings that are essentially going to be useless because they don't have speed. And he doesn't want to invest in speed, he wants to go roaches, which is why I think roaches would have been better, because then he can use those to help out with an attack.
So, right now, TefL, yes, he defends well, in the sense that he loses nowhere near as many workers as he did in the last game. Only 4 workers killed from 4GG this game, but it seems to have come at the expense of what his ideal army composition would like to have been. Like you say, he's now stuck with a whole bunch of slow Lings, a little bit of a confusing composition here, and, I mean, he has consolidated, he's getting his 3rd base down, and it's not like he's at an economic disadvantage, so he must be given credit for that much, as a couple of Hellions attempt to do some damage here, but unfortunately won't be able to.
Yeah, overall, TefL warding off those Hellions and now successfully being able to trap that last one in here. It's going to try to kill off as many Lings as it can. And actually, we'll probably just hide there for a while because he won't be able to get out with the roaches and Lings guarding there. 4GG's upgrades are even later than they were last game. He's only just now finishing up the engineering base at around 10 minutes. He is moving out to take his 3rd, though, and he does have a pretty sizable biomine force already. Yeah,
and, well, I'm not sure if he's necessarily going to wait for the 1-1 to complete before he chooses to poke in. He has already completed Stim. So we'll keep an eye out on that. If we take a quick look at the upgrades tab as well, he hasn't actually started combat shields. So his Marines are going to be stuck at that 45 hit points for a little while. It looks like he's just going to be defensive to hold this 3rd base for now while he gets his upgrades up, perhaps recognizing that they're a bit later this game than they were in the last one.
Yeah, so basically, I really like the positioning of the mines here for 4GG. I really want him to get a couple of bunkers as well, and a couple of supply depots to help wall this off, just because I don't like that he took this base against a Roach Hydra player, because this is the one that's absolutely massively wide open.
I guess, I mean, trying to think of reasons why 4GG would take this base here, just to play devil's advocate, as he does get the bunker down, so he is doing what he should. I guess, even though this is the most open base, also bear in mind it's the one that is the most forward, the one where you're expanding towards your opponent. So if he's looking to be very aggressive and get a very large army to kind of sit at this maybe right-hand side watchtower to go in and attack the 3rd, never mind, hang on, we have a huge drop going in the main, Stefan.
Yeah, we do, and the Slowling's trying to come and help on out, but 1 queen goes down. The Hydras are going to add enough DPS to really be able to hold this off pretty easily, so he's forced to lift off, but still a pretty good trade overall. He did kill off 2 more workers and a queen.
Yep.
2 queens, actually.
That's very, very useful indeed, especially after just killing off a couple extra units early on in the game, just trying to make TefL feel as uncomfortable as possible. But going back to our previous point, ooh, looks like Siege Tank can't quite exit the base at the moment, so needs to do something about that, does 4GG, lifting it up in the medevac. If he's going to be attacking constantly towards a 3rd base of TefL, I feel it's acceptable to take this base, because basically TefL's army will have to go through 4GG's army to get to this 3rd. I'm guessing that's the reason. If 4G ends up being very not aggressive in this game and he just sits back and plays defensively, then yes, I would certainly question why this choice of base was taken.
Yeah. Well, TefL's maxed. Despite the pretty bad start for him, he's completely managed to max out now on the Roach Hydra. He's going to go for the 2-2 timing that he likes to do quite a bit. The question is going to be, does the tank, actually, the 2nd tank, once again, stuck on the high ground, he could siege it up there. It's not the worst position in the world, but he'd ideally like to have that down a little further, because the tanks are going to be really helpful in dealing damage to the Hydras. And it's actually not a 2-2 timing. It's going to be 2-1 by the looks of it. It actually looks like TefL forgot +2 Carapace. But He's getting a pretty good concave here. He could get a good concave as he comes in from multiple sides. Tanks start firing, and there goes the mines.
He needs to be so careful. The Hydras are so squishy here. They have really high DPS, but they also have really low hit points, and the Roaches are all on the right-hand side. Hydra's doing an incredible amount of damage. Are they going to be able to out-DPS the Marines? I'm really not sure with the Medivacs here as well. The Roach is doing a great job of pushing through on the left, able to take out the siege tank as well. Hydras are left, and it looks like only the Medivacs are going to be left. The DPS was enough on this occasion from our Zerg player. The command center forced to lift off on the third, and 4GG is now falling back. The orbital command goes down as well, and TEFL can fall back safe in the knowledge that he is at an advantage now in this game.
TEFL has a massive lead. Not the greatest engage from 4GG. If he'd had the second tank on the low ground, that would have increased the DPS quite a bit. He also allowed TEFL to get a very, very sizable concave, which was not the greatest either. And overall, TEFL just handled that really well, coming in from two sides, getting as good a concave as feasibly possible there. And now, he's just kind of waiting for more units as he tries to deal the killing blow to his Korean opponent.
Yep, he's getting, he's gonna come in from both sides. Don't forget these Hydralists do just... they do so much damage, but it's also very easy for them to take a lot as well. Here can come into the mines as well. Is it going to be effective? He's coming in from two sides. More Medivacs, but 2-2. Only about a quarter of the way done. And a lot of these Medivacs actually going down, having to boost them to get within range of that siege tank. A great choice, but look at the number of units out here from TEFL. It's not going to be enough. GG! And we, ladies and gentlemen, have a game number 3 in this winner's bracket. TEFL is not going to go down without a fight, and 4GG feeling the pressure.